The Wharton School of Business and/or the University of Pennsylvania in no way endorse this video. The Wharton School of Business has been a pioneer in the world of business education from its inception in Philadelphia in 1881 by industrialist and philanthropist Joseph Wharton. In addition to having the distinction of being the first collegiate business school to be established in the world, Wharton also published the first business textbooks, pioneered the MBA in many fields, and offered the first executive MBA. Today, after over 125 years of operation, Wharton remains one of the world's elite institutions for business education, with the largest and most published faculty in the world. Domestically, the U.S. News & World Report ranked Wharton as the third top business school nationally. Business Week placed it as the fourth, Forbes magazine as the fifth, and the Wall Street Journal as the 11th. Internationally, the Financial Times ranked Wharton as the top business school in the country, while The Economist placed it as the 8th. The modern school is housed on the main campus of the University of Pennsylvania in Huntsman Hall, a state-of-the-art $140 million building that was opened in 2002. Wharton also boasts over 80,000 alumni worldwide, almost 200 elective classes, the largest of any school, and maintains an executive MBA program in San Francisco that draws from Wharton's Philadelphia faculty. Let's meet some students.
Hi, my name is Neil Nag. I'm a second-year Wharton MBA student. Before coming to business school, I worked for a hedge fund, and before that I worked for a crop side desk.
My name is Okezio Febu. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a Wharton MBA student.
Hi, I'm Camille Garriga, and I'm from New Haven, Connecticut originally. Went to Cornell University for undergrad, obviously. And I spent 5 years at MTV Networks before deciding that I wanted to go to business school.
Hi, my name is Wojtek Bajkowski. I am a MBA student here at Wharton School. I'm originally from Poland, in case you wonder where the accent is from. I lived in the States for about 10 years. Went to Colby College, graduated in 2000, worked as a consultant at a consulting firm in Boston for about 4 years.
My name is Priscilla Matos. I'm a sophomore at the Wharton School. My concentration is healthcare management. I'm from South Florida. Wharton was my first choice when deciding where I wanted to apply.
My name is Saison Wong. I attended Cornell University for my undergrad. I did a BS in biological engineering. I worked in software engineering since then for about 4 or 5 years. Finally ended up at Starwood Hotels before coming to business school.
Why did you choose Wharton?
I had a great job coming in, but the reason why I came to school is Wharton's got a great finance program, a lot of interesting classes which you won't find at other business schools, and the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting and fun people and connections for the rest of my life. If I would say one thing that I really enjoyed about school, it's all the people that I got to meet and a whole new slew of friends for the rest of my life, honestly.
So I was attracted to Wharton because I really wanted to be able to get a well-rounded experience, and I was looking for a school that would give me some really good, solid, concrete skills, and that's this school right here.
Decided to come to Wharton just to get better grounding in finance, accounting, kind of get to know people from different walks of our business life and take my career to the next level.
And I came to business school because while working for the hotel company, I became interested in hotel acquisitions and development. And with the background that I had, the academic background that I had, I really wasn't prepared to make that jump. So I checked around different business schools, about all the top 5. I looked at them all, but I only ended up spending the time and energy to apply to one school, which was Wharton. I figured that even though it might have been a bad bet just applying to one school, I was better off spending all my time and energy into putting together an application that I was satisfied with for one school. I talked to a lot of people who came to school here. I did a lot of research on it, and I don't know if you know, but they have like one of the better real estate programs in the country and one of the better finance programs in the country. So those are probably the top 2 reasons. And in addition to that, the people that I did meet here seemed to have a lot of common with myself. Seemed to be pretty down-to-earth and intelligent people that I'd like to hang out with besides do business with.
I decided to come to Wharton because it was my interest in finance. I originally started out as an engineer back in Nigeria. I wanted to switch careers to finance related type work, and Wharton is ranked as a top finance school, and I checked out the website and found that it had a large community of international students, so that was also very interesting to me. And I think the other thing about the program that I really liked is the number of electives that are available at Wharton, so I could actually customize my learning experience to focus on the things that interest me the most.
You're an undergrad. How much contact do you have with the MBA students?
I think I have more interaction because of an internship that I had with Johnson & Johnson. I was able to meet MBA students that attend, and also I won a scholarship, and I met the girl whose family gave me that scholarship, and she actually is an MBA student here. So Wharton gives you opportunities, and they help you out with financial aid and just different opportunities to get jobs, etc. And so through those opportunities, I've been able to meet MBA students, and now they're mentors of mine who I keep in constant contact with. I definitely want to get my MBA. I'm not sure if I want to come back here. It just kind of depends. I think that maybe going to another school would add more variety, but I definitely want to get an MBA.
How did you get interested in business in the first place?
It's funny, I hate to say this, but watching Wall Street and other movies like that, not necessarily being excited about the greed aspect to it, but just the markets in general and how the markets were romanticized to a certain extent. And then I was relatively young when I saw that, and then I just looked into it more, read, and it just got me interested. Like, oh wow, you can actually make money trading, and this is how you do it, or you can make money looking at companies, and this is the frameworks to do that. So it was I just thought one movie fostered a lot of interest in me.
Do you feel that international students are well integrated?
Well, I think it's pretty big. I think international students are 40% of student body, and that's students that are citizens of other countries and non-residents of the US. So that doesn't even count people like myself, who are somebody who is clearly international, but I'm a US resident now, so I guess the school doesn't count me as international. So I would say that it's you have representatives of very many countries, and it's a very large percentage of our student body.
Wharton is a large program. How does the school break down the class size?
We have one of the larger class sizes for business schools. I think Harvard's a little bit more than us, and then we're second. So what they've done is they break the classes up into what we call cohorts. So it's cohorts A through L, and it's 65 to 70 people or so per cohort. And then on top of that, in your first year, you actually work in learning teams, which is they assign you with 4 to 5 other individuals where you do group study work with. That's right.
What can you tell us about Huntsman Hall?
Wharton's got great facilities. That's if you're looking at schools, that might be something, because you spend a lot of time inside of the building. So it's really, if you've got great facilities, it helps out.
Wharton is known for finance and for its graduates populating Wall Street. Does this dominate the school?
I think it's a little bit of a misconception. I think people associate Wharton with the Wall Street. And I found it's to be the case with many employers, but I think you have quite a big diversity of career interests here. You have certainly good contingent interested in Wall Street kind of finance type of careers, but many people are interested in consulting, entrepreneurship, marketing. So I think it's very much more well diversified and well balanced than people think it is.
Definitely the investment banks of Wall Street, the consulting firms, they're the bread and butter of Wharton for sure, but there are other career paths that you can take coming out of Wharton. And I think it's up to the individual to put forth the effort to find those different alternative career paths. It's going to be easier to find the banks and the consulting firms, just because they're the ones that they fund the school, they're the ones that are donating the money. So it's understandable that they're going to get priority, they're going to get most of the advertising. But then again, the opportunities are there as long as you're willing to put the work in.
Do you need a car to go to school here?
No, you don't need a car to live here. Absolutely not.
I don't have a car and I live here just fine, so I would say that you don't need a car.
Not that many people actually live on campus, but people live in Center City, and we all take the bus or subway back and forth or cabs. It's pretty convenient.
No, you don't need a car for Philadelphia, and in fact, I think it would be more of a hassle to have a car. I live in Center City. Maybe if you live in the suburbs, you might need one, but living in Center City, you'd have to worry about parking it at night, whether I got broken into. And the short ride to Huntsman, really, you could either walk it or take a cab, take a bus. Public transportation gets a bad reputation, but it's efficient.
How do you like Philadelphia as a city?
For me, I actually grew up around here, so I actually enjoy Philadelphia a lot. And I think everybody, just in general, everybody's pleasantly surprised with Philly. And the city's changed quite a bit. It's actually improved a lot over the next 8 years. And the New York Times actually has it as the new hip city on the East Coast. So it's made a lot of, it's built itself up pretty well.
Philadelphia is great. I went to college in upstate New York, so there's definitely plenty to do here. Philadelphia has tons of restaurant life is great here, and there's lots of things to do on the water, and it's a very historical city. So
the weather is definitely something that you have to acclimate to, but Philadelphia is a city, and that's what I like about it. I'm able to walk and just, it's a great contrast, because when you're on university, campus-wide, it doesn't seem like it's part of the city. So it's not like NYU, whereas NYU, you're in the city. UPenn is kind of isolated, but you can just walk maybe 10 streets and you're in the city. So it's the best of both worlds.
I like Philadelphia. Yeah, I like Philadelphia because it has character. It's culturally diverse. It's a place where I can come in and I don't feel out of place, So Philadelphia is a great city, and the people are generally much more friendly in Philadelphia than in some of the other cities of the US that I have visited. When one realizes that this is one of the first cities in the United States, it's kind of understandable why a lot of the infrastructure is run down, and the city itself looks generally unkempt, but otherwise it's a great city.
It's growing on me, I guess coming from Boston, I really like Boston, and I was used to living there, so it was a big change for me. But I got settled in here over last year, and I think it's a great city. It's you definitely notice a little bit of an urban renaissance, if you will, taking place here, and the city's improving, and I think it's quite nice actually.
It's starting to grow on me. I wasn't too big on Philly at first. Probably because I just wasn't accustomed to Philly's idea of what a city is. I'm from New York originally, so that's what I came here expecting, and it's just not what you should expect when coming to Philadelphia. After being here a year, after having settled in, I'm learning a little bit more about the nooks and crannies of Philly that are a little less crowded, that really only the people that live in Philly for a while know about, things that make it interesting.
As I said, the schools that I think get the best speakers, it's probably, we're lucky, Harvard's obviously lucky, but then Columbia and NYU, yeah, location is very important.
Do you find Philadelphia to be expensive?
It's a lot cheaper than living in New York, look at it that way.
Philadelphia is expensive for Philadelphia. Everything in Philly is adjusted for the pay scale here in Philadelphia, and right now, since I'm making zero money, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as New York or anything like that. There's what I've noticed is that there's a gap. For example, in going to try to find somewhere to eat, there's a lot of really nice places to go to eat. There's a lot of really crappy places to go to eat, but there's a few choices in the middle. So that's one of my knocks on Philadelphia.
What is the student-faculty relationship like?
The faculty at Wharton are great. They're a mixture of both, so we have from the very good faculty to the, average faculty. The key thing when you work with faculty is to try to get to know what their primary research is on, because sometimes the faculty is taking a class that is not his or her primary research. So sometimes they disconnect there. But if you get to know and work with the faculty in line with their primary research, you find that you can really benefit a lot, because all Wharton professors are top class researchers, and then some of them are also top class teachers. So you need to take your time to get to know them. And if you find one that is pursuing a research interest that is of interest to you as well, that will serve you very well.
How heavy have you found the workload?
Yeah, the workload is very hard. You don't come to Wharton except you really want to work hard, long hours, long nights of hard work, lots of case preparations, lots of homework, and yeah, the work is very hard.
There is a ton of work, but I think teachers here understand that on top of the work, there's other things that, there's activities that you want to be involved in. So it's really up to you as to how much you want to do.
Well, I'm a first-year student, and the workload, I've heard, it gradually diminishes. So I'm right now at the peak of work. So I find it to be very intensive, and I'm pretty much maxed out all the time. But that being said, I think that once we're through our core curriculum, things will lighten up.
I would say it's more challenging academically than you might hear. Sometimes people will say, business school is not that much work. I think classes are very rigorous here, and it's definitely quite a bit of workload. And on top of that, you have extracurricular activities, like I play hockey, for instance. So it's additional 4 to 6 hours a week, and on top of that, you're doing recruiting, which is like a full-time job in itself. And on top of that, you might be interested in some other clubs, and so you will be very busy. You will definitely be short on sleep.
How have you found your fellow students?
You have to definitely be very aggressive and bring your A game at all times. Students here are definitely top-notch. It's survival of the fittest.
Fellow students are very impressive. You come to school here and you don't know what the environment's going to be like. You don't know if you're going to be, where on the curve you're going to fall. And it's different in every class. You have your strengths, you have your weaknesses. Sometimes I feel like I'm one of the smarter people in the room. Sometimes I feel like I'm the dumbest. It totally depends on where your strengths and weaknesses are. And that's one of the advantages of coming to a school like Wharton. It's big enough where you get a diverse enough mix of individuals where you can learn, you can strengthen your weaknesses just from being in the room, having conversations with these people, listening to their ideas, and vice versa. You have things to offer them, they have things to offer you.
They're all amazing. I think without an exception, I'm very impressed with people. They're very down to earth, so sometimes you talk to people and you don't realize that how accomplished they are. And sometimes, just, is having, drinking beers with them, or eating lunch, and they say something that they've done in the past, and you're like, what? You did what? That's amazing. And everybody here has some sort of a story. So more than anything else, I think it's my classmates that impress me the most.
It's remarkable, the caliber of people that you meet here. And on top of that, it's more important to have people who are not just bright, but also good people. And that's honestly what I've found, is that everybody here is here to learn, but also here to have meet others and have a good time. So I've really enjoyed it. And as I said before, the main thing that I liked about school is the people.
The students here are generally nice, friendly, lots of international students, so everybody kind of understands and cares for each other, accommodates, I guess that's the word, accommodates each other, even though we are from different parts of the world.
How have you found Wharton socially?
Socially, yeah, Wharton particularly is a very social community, and I think I found it quite interesting. Both the African American MBA Association and the African Association constantly have social events, and most of the clubs have social events. So socially, it's been very active. I'm not as active as the average Wharton student, but when I do want to be socially active, I've found more than enough activities available.
Yeah, from what I understand, I can't speak from first-hand experience with respect to what the social life is at other schools, but I think it's very active here. I think we have a very active social life because of the size of the school and because of the diversity of individuals that we have here. You can always find your crowd if you want. Regardless of what type of person you are, you can always find your crowd to hang out with here and find your comfort zone.
Do you have time to have fun?
If you try to do everything, you're not going to have time to have fun. But you have to make choices. There's always something you could be doing with your time. There's always that little feeling of, maybe I should be doing something else. Maybe I should be doing something that I know will have a direct impact on my future. But then again, there are other opportunities to have fun that will have a direct impact on your future that you don't realize now. You realize this more in your second year. I think after your first year here, you begin to relax and settle down, because during the first year you really don't know what's important to you yet. You really haven't had an experience of making these choices and finding out that they really weren't worth your time. Second year, you've pretty much filtered through all those meetings, all those discussions, talks, etc. that aren't going to add that much value.
I noticed a car from the Federal Reserve leaving earlier. Does Wharton generally attract many interesting speakers and visitors?
Definitely. And when I say don't add value, I don't mean in an absolute sense. I mean in an individual, relative sense. For my goals and objectives, I don't need to come to see every speaker, and I'm sure other people would love to come to see them speak. But for example, today I'm dressed in a suit, not because I'm interviewing for anything, but because there was a real estate conference here today, the Zelluri Real Estate Conference. And some of the best, brightest real estate minds in the country, maybe even the world, were here today. You come here, you hear them speak, you hear about their own proprietary ideas that they don't talk about in public. And it's definitely an environment where you can hear original thought from the leaders of industry.
Yeah, that's the great thing about coming to school here too. You get incredible people to come and speak. But I mean, that's something that I think other schools share too. But if you're in Columbia, you obviously have a lot of people. If you're at Harvard, but yeah, it's been great because since the academic programs here are so strong, they've fostered the PhD programs. They've fostered like intellectuals in the field who do work for real companies and real administrators, the Fed, etc. So it's very connected with the outside world, and people are appreciative and come and speak.
What has surprised you most about your experience here at Wharton?
In terms of the Wharton, I think what surprised me most is the amount of time I spend in recruiting for a job. Typically one comes to business school with an objective to learn, spend time to acquire skills. But I find that almost 30 to 40% of my time, particularly my first year, was spent in recruiting, attending employee events, going up to New York to speak with employers, networking, and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of a surprise to me and then the competition to get a job is really, really intense. So you have 800 students all competing for jobs, but then people are pursuing specific type of jobs. So we find so many people competing for these types of jobs, and these jobs are not that many. So at the end of the day, the competition is really intense and everyone has to really push themselves to get a job. So that was my main surprise.
What do you plan to do with your MBA?
In the long term, I plan to start my own business, very possibly in Eastern Europe, where I'm from. In the short term, probably I will do consulting or maybe some strategy related position for working for a big corporation.
I'm going to go back to media and entertainment, hopefully in business development or strategy.
I'll either end up going back to the hedge fund or work for like a prop desk, similar to what I did before. So I'm not the traditional career switcher who comes to business school. I came here for other reasons, taking some more finance classes and just trying to get a more overall understanding of business rather than just finance. So Wharton offers that opportunity. The goal is to not be working for somebody else, but to be working for me. And hopefully, I'll never stop wanting to do that because I'll always see opportunities in the markets and it'll be interesting. Hopefully it won't be about the money, it'll be more about just having fun. And obviously, when you have your own business and when you have your own funds, I think that allows you to keep doing it for as long as you want.
The plan right now is to work in the United States for a couple of years, maybe 4, 5, or 6 years, and then hopefully with a firm that has operations in Africa, and then somewhere down the road transfer back to Africa and use the expertise and skills I've learned here, both here at Wharton and at the firm, to help grow their business in Africa.
What kind of person might not be happy here?
I guess somebody who's not ready to be challenged, not necessarily in an academic sense, but more so in a sense of like open-mindedness, and in a sense that like many people are used to being the best in whatever they're doing, and you come here and you're no longer the best because everybody's really accomplished and really talented, so you're not going to be best at everything. There's going to be people way better than you, and if you're not able to learn from these people, if you're not ready to accept that they're better than you and learn from them, and you're just going to be bitter about it, then you're not going to be happy here. So it's kind of requires some sort of like, I guess, humility to be at this school.
I really wouldn't say that anybody shouldn't come to school here. I think that one of the great things about going to a big school is the richness of the diversity of the class. So I think that this school experience will kind of help to bring out other parts of your personality. So if you are a particularly timid person, you'll learn how to speak up for yourself. If you're a person who really has to be the leader all the time, you really will learn how to be more of a team member. And so I do think that everyone should come.
People that aren't comfortable in making sacrifices, making decisions that where they have to give something up. Coming here, you have to give up an entire year's salary, or 2 years' salary. You have to give up 2 years' salary, and you have to pay out the wazoo for this education, right? So maybe it may or may not come back, and that's a big risk. And I think one of the things that I don't like about business schools in general is that because of the costs, the great costs that are incurred, it tends to put many people on the risk-averse, sure-thing path. For example, it puts them on Wall Street, puts them in consulting firms where maybe they would have more fun somewhere else, but the payback is not as sure, it's not as guaranteed. You go to a Wall Street firm, go to an investment bank, you know you're going to be making loan payments, you know you're going to be driving whatever car you want pretty much, you know you're going to be able to buy a house in a few years, and it'll make you a little more risk-averse, I think. So maybe entrepreneurs who don't want to deal with like the bureaucracy of like big organizations, the ones that feel like the ones that just have that natural talent. There are ones out there, you know them, the ones that are heads of the big companies, the ones that don't need this education, but they would not be happy here.
I think business school, at least Wharton, and I think a lot of other business schools, require someone who is a little outgoing and someone willing to take chances and willing to, take classes that they might not be that strong in, or, meet people. You have to kind of be an extrovert. So if you're someone who, is very introverted and not really happy kind of going out of your comfort element, I think school is a very tough place, because the whole point of your first year is to try to get you out of a comfort zone. So the more amenable you are in being able to do that, the easier it is for you to handle it.
Hardcore entrepreneurs, people who have tons of business ideas or are running a business already, and they want to come to business school either to improve their ability to run a business. The reason why I say that is because a program is geared towards helping you get your next job. Now, there are entrepreneurial programs available, but they are not as highly advertised or as popular as what most students go for around Wharton. So if you're a very, very hardcore entrepreneur, want to do things all by yourself, want to be different, want to really think out of the box, you're going to have to work hard to enjoy Wharton, but you can actually enjoy Wharton, because I know a couple of my friends who are that way and they're having a blast here as well.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to, you can use school to build a foundation in certain aspects of it. But then there's great classes here too. Like I'm taking this class on legal aspects of entrepreneurship. And it's essentially a semester-long class which explains a variety of the legal ramifications that one has running a small business, be it hiring, be it proprietary knowledge, all the various different elements that can come into it. So, school does offer those opportunities too. But yeah, you have to kind of look for it. You have to find it on your own.
What advice do you have for prospective students looking at MBA programs in general and Wharton in particular?
I would advise them to definitely take a look inside themselves and make sure it's something you want to do. It does require a lot of time, energy, effort, resources, and money. And it's if you're here and you're not happy, you're really not going to be happy. And it's not that you need to know exactly what you want to do. Half the people that come here are career changers. Half the people that come here are still trying to figure out what they're just trying to do, even in their second year. So it's not like you have to have it nailed down, but you need to understand what it's all about, and you have to accept what it's about. You have to be okay with that. You can't come here thinking that, because you graduate from here, you're going to get a great job, you're going to get paid a lot of money. It's just not the case. You come here, and anything you get, you're going to have to work for. You're going to have to prove yourself for, and you're going to have to prove yourself relative to, 800, 1,600 other students that have the same exact degree.
One is really figure out why you want to come to business school. And once you've determined that this is business school is what I really want to do and this is why, look at the programs and try to see which school is strong in what, but also look at the types of people that are in the school. And if you're an outdoors, if you really love the outdoors, this might be a tough, for going to a city school might be a tough situation for you, though it's only for 2 years, but still, nonetheless, if that's what makes you happy, these are considerations people don't necessarily think about, but that they should.
Just really think about your story, think about what you've accomplished so far, and think about where you want to be, and think about how does MBA fit into this equation. Don't get too hung up on GMAT scores and I don't know, your grades from your undergraduate program. Just think what MBA can add to your education and what you can add to MBA, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
I would say definitely do a lot of research, and I think that for me it was important to actually spend time on each campus, sit in on a class, see if you like the environment, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there. So do your research, make an educated, informed decision. Don't go by hearsay or by ranking lists.
If you're an international student and you have a great job back home where you are, make sure you come to the top schools, because you really stand a chance, to get a job or to get the kind of experience here in the US if you're in a top school like a Wharton or Harvard or Kellogg or Stanford. Those of us who are here in top schools really, really work hard to get a job. So I can imagine what others in second-tier schools or third-tier schools will have to go through. And so if you're applying to business school, I would say aim for the top schools, and then try to get in. I would also say if you're applying to Wharton and you are from Africa, get in touch with the Wharton African Student Association. They have a strong mentoring and guiding program in place that enables international students from Africa especially to assist them in putting together strong applications. What I would say, particularly for an international student, outside of the United States, Wharton does not have as great a brand name as maybe a Columbia or even a Harvard school has. But I would say for a prospective student, an international student, in terms of the value of what you get, the quality of the program is really very high. The training you get, the exposure you get, all the pluses and the minuses add up together to make you a much better person. At least that's made me a much better person than when I came into the program. So I would really encourage, people who are looking for quality, who are looking for very strength in finance or in ability to solve hard business problems, to consider Wharton seriously.
It's a great school, it's a great opportunity, and I love it here.
I think alumni base is probably one of the most important things that you have, because as you're closer to graduating from here, you realize the biggest resource that you gain from coming to school outside of knowledge is your group of friends. And take that 5-10 years from now, that alumni, your alumni base is pretty powerful. And if it's an active alumni base, that only makes it easier for you to do the things you need to do in life.